So we can go this way, and then this way, and then we can climb on these, and then we can go around here, and then come back.
Okay.
I don't want to do that because this is all... There's no animals. Like, I'm here for the animals.
Okay. Do you know if they have flamingos? Like real flamingos?
Wow, that's so cool. Get a capture picture. It tells about Tallahassee's museum. A scarce group of donors who chose generosity demonstrates a commitment to the tradition of yesterday and the vision of tomorrow. That's awesome. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
This is all donated.
There's a zip line. You can kind of see it through the trees. Okay, what is that snapping noise?
Oh, sure. Could see people up there. I don't know if it's open today. I don't think so.
Hey, that was one of the coffee shops from the GPS.
Strawberry Cafe.
Yeah, that was one of the coffee shops.
Look, a squirrel in its natural environment.
Honey, we're not here to see a tree rat.
Yeah, but I've never seen one so close. Usually they run away.
Just
They're
have
like,
to.
fuck you, we don't have any squirrels. Look at this cool house.
Oh, I know what it is.
Tree nuts?
Yeah.
Love your shirt.
Thank you.
Who's your favorite character?
Obviously, don't go.
Hey! Goku. If only it was real.
I just heard a horse.
Sure, it's a horse.
Yeah, because you know that nose thing that they always do?
Here's the old school farm layout. Outhouse, corn crib, chicken house. Here's a natural blacksmith's. The good old days.
Good.
Do you want to take a picture of me on bed?
The mosquito was sucking my blood.
Oh, you typo? That's so cool. Look at the original fireplace and everything. And the blowing thing.
No, honey. That's to blow the fire so it gets hotter.
You know, it'd be even cooler if they could actually reenact it.
They probably do.
There was a place long ago. There's a chicken coop. Oh, there's actually chicken in here.
I see chickens.
Really?
Yeah. No, that's a pig.
There's a pig? It's a
Yeah.
pig coop? Holy shit, there's a horse. I mean, a cow. There's a cow.
Yeah, this is a pig.
Hogs. They call them hogs. It is believed that hogs were first brought to Florida in 1539. The Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto brought hogs with him as he explored Florida. Both European settlers and Native Americans raised their hogs in semi-wild conditions. Hogs were allowed to roam the land and were only rounded up when needed. Many escaped into the wild and further spread the wild hog population across the United States.
Yes.
So that's how they spread out.
Yeah, the settlers brought them over and let them go.
Feral hogs canoe to alter landscapes today. They consume crops, spread disease, and kill livestock. These hogs can have become popular with sport hunters, which help to keep their populations in check. On the farm, hogs are an important source of meat and fat, as well as acting as tools to help convert ineatable food into manure for farming. Their self-sufficiency meant that they were easy to raise and little cost to the farmer. Hogs were typically left to forage on their own around the farm instead of being placed in pens. Pig fat was an important ingredient to making soap in the 19th and early 20th century. It was mixed with lye and used to wash clothes and more often than people. So use their pig fat to wash our clothes.
Well, not anymore. We don't use lye.
I mean, maybe some.
Back in the day,
Maybe some other, cultures do still.
lye is very dangerous.
Is it?
Yeah, in high concentrations, it can dissolve a body.
What? Where did you get that information from?
Modern rogue.
Sugarcane. Sugarcane. There.
Yeah.
A bunch of tools up there. So. Cool. Let me guess.
Can't touch the animal. Can't touch the cow. Come on. We're from Wisconsin.
It's not a part. It's not. Oh, this one has a ball and everything. Oh, I think it's pregnant. Ooh. Ooh.
Hey, Bessie.
Messy.
Bessie the cow.
Oh, that was a real thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was just fake. She is so pregnant. You can tell because it almost makes a point at her hips. Let's see. It says Jersey cow.
Those geese.
Pitts barn. Downstairs there would have been livestock pens, and on top there would have been equipment, corn fodder, and hay for winter feed. The pit farm was almost 200 acres and was home to cattle, sheep, goats, hogs, and chickens. On the farm they grew corn, sugarcane, sweet potatoes, and grapes. The museum's barn, chicken house, potato house, corn crib, and buggy house all came from the pit farm. This is what the farm looked like before they took it and put it here. So this actually was real. This is all real.
I know.
Where's it go? Right there. Oh, those eyes. You have such pretty eyes. Boy, they imitate it. Hi.
Hey, guys. I don't know.
Quack.
These aren't Canadian geese. I don't know what these are.
Look, there's chicks. Chickens.
I don't know if these are runners or...
They look different than other geese. Is this just what geese look like in Florida?
No, you saw the Canadian geese at the jail.
Look a pretty bird.
I mean, I would imagine these are part of the geese family.
I want to pet it, but I know it's good. Chickens. Chickens on farms in the 19th and 20th century acted as sources for eggs for both consumption and sale. Eating chicken meat was a luxury on a small farm and was saved for special occasions. Chickens would lay between 80 to 150 eggs per year, so they were used or eaten sparingly. On the farm today, there are roughly 400 million laying birds in the United States. They lay nearly 100 billion eggs per year, and chicken meat is the most consumed meat in America.
So these are geese.
Apparently. Or a chicken. Because chickens. Look at it's using its chest to really talk.
Well, this must be mated pairs then.
Yeah, I feel like that's the male and this is a female. Because that one has the weird head button thing. You got a head button thing on your head. Hers is smaller. I think it's her. Oh, what if they're both males and we're just... I don't know. You guys, we don't have food.
You have food that the birds are eating.
I don't know why they're so intrigued enough.
Because it probably people feed on them.
Don't know. Yep, here's the geese sign. Geese are particularly well suited for small farms. Mature geese are independent and larger than other poultry species, which makes them less vulnerable to predators. Geese supply nutritious meat, huge eggs, and rich fat for cooking. They also have soft down feathers for bedding and clothing, which makes them particularly appropriate for providing farmers with a supplementary income. By integrating geese into farming systems, they help with weed and pest control in the crops. Their preference for grasses and not broadleaf plants made them ideal companions for early Florida farms. Geese are surprised as alarms. Their loud honking will welcome the alerts for intruders on the farm. Sheep.
Yeah.
Okay, we all know what sheep are for. Okay, you little shits.
For the wool.
Why does that one look so funny? It's just me. You guys bath? I know certain breeds don't bath. Some bath and some don't. Let's see what. Oh, there's pretty big history. Like cows and pigs, sheep were also brought in the Spanish in the 16th century. So pretty much the Spanish
Brought
kinda
over
fucked up
everything,
the United
yeah.
States, didn't it?
Yeah. You can't
The
blame
United States was fine, and then the Spanish came over. They just fucked up the Native Americans. They fucked up the land. They fucked up.
Yeah, but we also got a lot
People?
of stuff from the Spanish too.
Yeah, but they brought so much diseases. They killed thousands of Native Americans because Native Americans were perfectly fine without the fuckers. And that's why a lot of us have Spanish descent. For several hundred years, sheep roamed as feral animals across the northern Florida. Before the 1800s, sheep farming was primarily based around wool production, was used for homemade textiles. By the early 1800s, woolen mills multiplied across the country. This made processing raw wool much easier, which in turn increased the demand for an increase in raising sheep on farms. By the mid-19th century, mutton became a popular meat, especially in larger cities. This led to more breeding as the volume of sheep needed to meet the demand continued to rise. Today, wool is often considered the lesser byproduct of sheep farming. The decline in the use of wool is a result of many factors. One of the major reasons is the use of other natural fibers like cotton, silk, along with synthetic fibers such as nylon, rayon, acrylic, and polyester, which all compete with wool. Sheep fiber, as well as other animal fibers such as those made from goats or alpacas, breathe. This means that the fiber absorbs perspiration and helps push away from skin and into the air.
One's on the
Fibers from
move.
sheep and goats are inherently flame resistant. They have high ignition point, which is between 1000 to 1112 Fahrenheit. Darn. It's kind of neat.
One's on the move.
It's like I gotta stretch my legs. These motherfuckers is gonna move.
Or it's gonna poop soon. Bless you, sweetie.
How am I stretching? Okay.
There's your chicken house.
This is neat, huh? Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
See what they used to build before we had these big old red barns and shit. Smokehouse. Before the invention of refrigeration, fresh meat had to be consumed quickly before it spoiled. Curing meat with salt and smoke would help it last longer. Farmers would take their meat. Wait a second, isn't that the same thing as jerkifying?
Yeah, but with that, they actually use wood.
No way.
They use a certain wood type, like oak will give it a certain flavor, pine will give it a certain flavor.
Okay. Farmers would take their meats and pack them in tubs of coarse salt where they would rest for several weeks. They would then hang the meat in the smokehouse to cure. The process of curing meats with smoke is long and time-consuming. The fire was carefully watched to make sure it was smoldered and smoked at the proper temperature. The smoke would slowly cook the meat over several weeks. When the smoking was done, the resulting meat was dried, long-lasting, and smoke-flavored. Before it was eaten, farmers would let it rest in the smokehouse for several months.
Yeah.
That's insane.
See, my humidifier does the exact same thing, but
This space
faster.
is also a safe way to keep meats from insects and birds.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Because
insane. I was always wondering that, like, they had to eat everything. What if you even got, like, little props? That's probably what it looked like. I can't get it on my phone. That's okay. It's still cool. cool to look at. I'm taking that. That's the outhouse. This looks like the main house. Looks like it's close house. But you can kind of get, or maybe it's a schoolhouse.
Because of the bell.
Yeah. Outhouses, yep. So, on the farm. Outhouses were located at a small distance from the house, but close enough for easy access. They needed to be situated far away from the wells present on the farm to avoid groundwater pollution. Outhouses were often visually underwhelming. They varied in design, but were simple shapes that were 3 to 4 feet square and 7 feet tall. There were no windows, heat, or electricity. They were typically constructed with lightweight lumber so they could be moved easily. Some outhouses were camouflaged with plants, shrubs, and trees to keep the space private and tucked away from the rest of the property. Oftentimes, wood piles were kept near outhouses so an armload could be brought back to the stove after visiting the outhouse. Outhouses were often over a pit which was 3 to 6 feet deep, so basically like you're burying someone. When the pit became full, it was covered up and the new pit was dug for that house to be placed over. Wow. Can you imagine doing that in winter? I heard they do that in Alaska because it gets so freaking cold they can't afford to have toilets and stuff.
Well, a lot of people actually just put like diesel in it, and that's what the military does. That they mix it with like jet fuel and then light it.
This part makes me go nuts. Toilet paper was a relatively unknown product in the late 19th century. This meant leaves, newspapers, catalogs, and even corn cobs were used as toilet tissue. Can you imagine wiping your ass with a corn?
Tried it.
Sweetie.
No, I actually tried it.
Why?
Because it was part of a reenactment thing. Like,
You did a reenactment?
Like, I didn't actually physically wipe my butt with it. I did it on my arm.
Oh, okay. How does modern plumbing affect the soil and groundwater today? Why is sewage unsafe? Sewage comes in 2 types: black water, wastewater from toilets, and gray water, which is wastewater from all sources except toilets. Many different types of organisms live in wastewater. Some of these are important contributors to treatment. Bacteria help to break down pollutants in wastewater by consuming them. There are many disease-causing viruses, parasites, and bacteria in wastewater. If these mix into other water sources of soil, they can make other organisms, including humans, sick. Some of these organisms end up in lakes, streams, and oceans. They can reduce or deplete the supply of oxygen in the water, which can hurt the aquatic life.
Yeah.
And that's why these are a great idea.
Yeah.
Can we open it? Put your fingers in the hole. Okay, go in there. I'm going to take a picture. Turn around. Is it actually dug, or is it just...
I don't think it is. If it was, I'd probably stink like hell.
I was just wondering if they dug the hole, not actually pooped in it. That's cool. It's very cool. We should leave it open. That's really neat. This looks like a schoolhouse. Is there desks in there?
I don't know. I can't. It's dark in there. No.
It's a kitchen.
Yeah.
Cool. Supper time. Ring, ding, 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 ding. I can't get in there. It's locked. But you can tell. It's really cool from this point of view.
Looks like there's a outhouse right there too.
Oh.
And there's a freaking stop.
There's steps right here. The buggy house?
Yeah, the buggy. As you know, the buggy.
This horse and mule area.
Yeah. It's mainly for like.
Cool.
There's the horses that I was talking about.
Mules.
Hey guys.
Horses are awesome. Hello.
Well, you don't want to say hi? You're not sociable, are you?
I don't think they
This
are.
one is.
Hello. wish they had feeding stations so you can throw
This
food.
one's sociable.
This is so pretty. These are so pretty. Pretty horse.
Corn? No, that's not corn. What is this? Oh, that must be sugar cane.
What? Really?
Yeah, it looks like sugar cane. Look at the stalks.
I believe you. I think we went too long there. It's okay. We'll just keep walking around it. This is so cool to see like the original, like what we started with when we first came here. I'm surprised we don't have this Wisconsin, considering most Wisconsin is made on dairy. Ooh, the grist mill. The grist mill was used to grind corn into meal for cooking. Usually a mill was independently owned and served all the farms of the surrounding area. Farmers brought corn to the mill to be ground into meal grits. Water steam applied to the power of the mill.
Cornmeal too.
This mill was originally powered by water but was converted to use electricity in the 20th century. A corn shelter removed the dry kernels from the cob. The miller used a rolla cup to measure the shape of the ground corn, which would be kept as payment for their work. The grinding surfaces of the millstone were furrow carved with patterned grooves they channeled off the ground mill.